Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Jaya Brajajana Ranjana Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Brajajana Ranjana Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Brajajana Ranjana Jaya Yamunatiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari. Vanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Tanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivajakacharya Ashtotara Sata Srimad. His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. I'm not sure how to do this. Maybe Mother Manjari Gopal. Hare Krishna, everyone. Before we begin the Srimad Bhagavatam class, let's chant some prayers for bringing about auspiciousness. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udhirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Naranarayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttamash loke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Hare Krishna, everyone. Today we will continue to read from the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter number 13, entitled Brahma stealing the boys and the calves. So today we will start from verse number 40. Mother Kunti, do you want me to continue or should I? Okay. I'm sorry. Please forgive my inability to help you to get the verse on the screen. Okay, so we will start with verse number 40. If you all have your phones, you can pull it up on vedabase.io. Canto 10, chapter number 13, verse number 40. And today I think we will continue, we will start from verse number 40 and go on until verse number 45. And I believe 44 is the verse that needs more focus. Oh yes, there it is, I think. Looks like we're almost there, so we'll just wait for just a second before we start the reading. We're just trying to get the verse on the screen. Hari bol. We got it on the screen. For those devotees on online land, so please forgive us for the technical difficulties. So, with the help of Gokulananda Prabhu, we got it figured out. Yes, Prabhu. Text number 40. Okay. Who would like to start?
When Lord Brahma returned after a moment of time had passed according to his own measurement, he saw that although by human measurement the complete year had passed, Lord Krishna after all that time was engaged just as before in playing with the boys and calves, who were his expansion.
We'll also do the purports. Those are really beautiful purports.
You want me to do? Okay.
Lord Brahma had gone away for only a moment of his time, but when he returned, a year of human time had passed. On different planets, the calculation of time is different. To give an example, a man-made satellite may orbit the Earth in an hour and 25 minutes and thus complete one full day. Although a day ordinarily takes 24 hours for those living on Earth, therefore what was but a moment for Brahma was 1 year on Earth. Krishna continued to expand himself in so many forms for 1 year, but by the arrangement of Yogamaya, no one could understand this but Balaram.
After 1 moment of Brahma's calculation, Brahma came back to see the fun caused by his stealing the boys and calves. But he was also afraid that he was playing with fire. Krishna was his master, and he had played mischief for fun by taking away Krishna's calves and boys. He was really anxious, so he did not stay away very long. He came back after a moment of his calculation. When Brahma returned, he saw that all the boys, calves, and cows were playing with Krishna in the same way as when he had come upon them. By Krishna's display of Yogamaya, the same pastimes were going on without any change.
On the day when Lord Brahma had first come, Baladev could not go with Krishna and the cowherd boys, for it was his birthday, and his mother had kept him back for the proper ceremonial bath called Shantika Snana. Therefore, Lord Baladev was not taken by Brahma at that time. Now 1 year later, Brahma returned, and because he returned on exactly the same day, Baladev was again kept at home for his birthday. Therefore, although this verse mentions that Brahma saw Krishna and all the cowherd boys, Baladev is not mentioned. It was 5 or 6 days earlier that Baladev had inquired from Krishna about the extraordinary affection of the cows and cowherd men. But now, when Brahma returned, Brahma saw all the calves and cowherd boys playing with Krishna as expansions of Krishna, but he did not see Baldev. As in the previous year, Lord Baldev did not go to the woods on the day Lord Brahma appeared there.
I'll just comment a little bit after each verse. So before that, just beg for prayers from spiritual masters. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Lord Brahma thought wherever
Actually,
boys ain't.
Sorry, Sam. We'll just hold on just for a minute. We'll just talk a little bit about this verse and then you can continue. So actually, I'm not sure if this was mentioned in the when this chapter was begun, but this chapter was the last chapter that Srila Prabhupada gave his Bhaktivedanta purports before departing to the spiritual world. And I was hearing a lecture, and His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj was mentioning how Srila Prabhupada was so physically so weak. His body was so, his transcendental body was so thin, but still devotees were holding up a microphone up until the last moment. And Srila Prabhupada was giving his transcendental purpose. And it was so hard actually even to speak, but still Srila Prabhupada was whispering into that microphone. So Srila Prabhupada was so fixed up in his following the instruction of his spiritual master, who ordered him to write these books in the English, for the English speaking people of the world. Also in this first verse we see, or we have already started reading how Brahma kind of made a mistake of actually testing Krishna. But actually if we go back to the summary of this chapter, Srila Prabhupada actually clarifies actually what Brahma did was actually more to teach us. In the summary, I will just read a small part of it. Then the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes, in order to please Lord Brahma. You see here the word Srila Prabhupada is using, to please Lord Brahma, as well as his own associates and their mothers, expanded himself to become the calves and boys exactly as they were before. So this whole Brahma Vimohan Leela is more, although Lord Brahma was put into this situation, it is more for us, to understand how that we are not the controller and Krishna is the supreme controller. It is, we have all gone through so many situations, where we may think that we are the controller, or we may know of situations where someone may think they're the controller. And when we are in that consciousness, what happens is, it's very hard for us to stay humble, because we are always thinking, it's my way or the highway. What I think has to be done, what I say has to be done. It has to be exactly this way. But on the contrary, we see in our movement, there are senior devotees, spiritual masters. I have had so many personal experiences when His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj was here. Maharajas are so humble, when someone is even making a point, although they're on the transcendental platform. Let's say, for example, someone has a practical detail to share about their health or travel or whatever. Still they become so humble, they listen to what the others are saying. So this Vaishnav quality of humility is like a jewel, and when we are in that mode of controlling, it's very hard to develop that quality of humility. Yeah. Now, Sam, would you like to now continue, please? Text number 41, yes, please.
Lord Brahma thought wherever the boys and calves were in Golaka, I have kept them sleeping in the bed of mystic potency, and this very day they have not yet risen again.
Would you like to also read the purport, please?
For 1 year, Lord Brahma kept the cows and boys lying down in the calves by his mystic power. Therefore, when Brahma saw Lord Krishna still playing with all the cows and calves, he began to reason about the happening. What's this? He thought, maybe I took those calves and cowherd boys, but now they taking the calves, and what happened? Lord Krishna brought back to here. Then, however, Lord Brahma saw the calves and boys have taken were still in the same mystic Maya was into which had put them. Thus concluded that calves and cowherd boys was playing with Krishna were different ones with the calf. He could understand that although original calves and boys are still in the calf where they had put them.
He could understand that although the original calves and boys were still in the cave where he had put them, Krishna had expanded himself, and so the present demonstration of calves and boys consisted of expansions of Krishna. They had the same features, the same mentality, and the same intentions, but they were all Krishna.
Yeah. So it's so funny, like how Brahma was. This is where we see that Brahma is getting bewildered. He's thinking, he's not able to figure out which set of boys and calves are actually the ones that he stole, and which are the set that Krishna expanded. And he goes back and forth, as we see in this purport that Srila Prabhupada explains. And actually, in this purport, if we try to understand this, Srila Prabhupada is making the point that, Maya Devi, she is so strong that she can cover us up, cover the living entities. The living entity may think, I am intelligent, materially I am very intelligent, and I can do a lot of things, and so on and so forth. So that's where the covering happens. But on the the issue there is, the living entity forgets Krishna. But on the other hand, we have we just few days or last week we heard Shamlila Prabhu talk in his class, like how there are very, very intelligent devotees, not only intelligent spiritually but materially also. They have very high qualifications, PhD degrees. So they are using their God-given abilities to actually push on this Krishna consciousness movement. Srila Prabhupada would always say that in these universities, where is the department where spiritual education is taught? There is no department. There is biology, there is chemistry, there is physics, there is so many fields, but there is no spiritual department. And these devotees who are who are professors or who study in these universities, they're kind of filling up that gap of actually having those nice sessions for students to come and understand spiritual life. And we are so fortunate, even in Dallas, we have in many universities, UTD, UTA, UNT, there are devotees who are doing such nice service, and senior devotees like His Holiness Rompad Maharaj. He gives a talk in UNT, and then when Radhesham Prabhu comes, in UTD, they have really nice talks. So it is so nice that devotees are doing this, and that's what our mission is actually, right? Our mission is to spread this Krishna consciousness all over the world, and that's one of the best times in a person's life to do it. When they're just young, they have this full energy, enthusiasm, then you give them Krishna consciousness and they can do wonders. So yes, can we please continue with text number 42?
A similar number of boys and calves have been playing with Krishna for one whole year. Yet they are different from the ones illusioned by my mystic potency. Who are they? Where did they come from?
Would you like to read the purport also, please?
Although appearing like cows and covered by all Vishnu, actually they were Vishnu Tattva, not Jiva Tattva. Brahma was surprised the original covered boys and calves. He thought, are still where I put them last year? So who is that? Who is it that is now keeping company with Krishna exactly as before? Where have they come from? Brahma was surprised that his mystic power had been neglected. Without touching the original cows and covered boys kept by Brahma, Krishna had created another assembly of cows and boys, who were all expansions of Vishnu Tattva. Thus Brahma's mystic power was superseded.
Yes, Prabhu, we can go on to text number 43. Okay.
Thus, Lord Brahma, thinking for a long time, tried to distinguish between those two sets of boys who were each separately existing. He tried to understand who was real and who was not real, but he couldn't understand at all. Brahma was puzzled. The original boys and calves are still sleeping as I've kept them, he thought, but another set is here playing with Krishna. How has this happened? Brahma could not grasp what was happening, which boys were real and which were not real. Brahma was unable to come to any definite conclusion. He pondered the matter for a long while. How can there be two sets of cows and boys at the same time? Have the boys and calves here been created by Krishna, or has Krishna created the ones lying asleep? Or are both merely creations of Krishna? Brahma thought about the subject in many different ways. After I go to the cave and see that the boys and calves are still there, does Krishna go and take them away and put them here so that I come here and see them? And does Krishna then take them from here and put them there? Brahma could not figure out how there could be two sets of calves and cowherd boys exactly alike. Although thinking, he could not understand at all.
Yeah, here we see like how Krishna is, when he wants to test us, he's like so thorough. See, Brahma is the most intelligent person in our creation, right? In our universe. Because he is the secondary creator. He is the one who creates all the living entities and everything. And if we see like how it is Krishna put him into that illusion, the most intelligent person, and similarly, in this there was one pastime, of Srila Prabhupada. When Srila Prabhupada was in France, some of the devotees wanted him to meet the most intelligent people in France. So they invited this one psychiatrist, and to get him to come to meet, he was a very famous person. So to get him to come to meet Srila Prabhupada, they had to like kind of make up, say that, we're going to treat someone. And then this person comes up, and then when he comes to the temple, there's no one to treat there. And then the devotees go up and they ask Prabhupada, Prabhupada, this famous person came and then, he couldn't meet you and he wanted to treat you and and then Srila Prabhupada laughs and laughs. He says, the reason he came here was for me to treat him. Because to cure the person of his material disease. And so that's the problem, like when people are too intelligent, we will read in the further verses, Srila Prabhupada will speak like how Maya Devi covers them over. And similarly, not just this thinking that this pride or whatever that is being spoken here, we can also get covered over with so many anarthas. And when Krishna wants to purify us, he will test us thoroughly. So our only shelter, for us as devotees is, at that time to take the sincere association of devotees, sadhu sangha, and then the holy name, and then in the form of japa and in the form of kirtan. So yes, now can we please continue with text number 44? I think this is a verse that we are supposed to chant the Sanskrit, so we'll chant the Sanskrit. I will do the Sanskrit also. Thank you, Prabhu. Evam samoham vishnum vimoham vishvamohanam sva eva mayajo api swayam eva vimohitah evam samohayam vishnum vimoham vishvamohanam swaya eva mayaya aja swayam eva vimohitah evam samohayan vishnum vimoham vishvamohanam swaya eva mayaya jo api swayam eva vimohita. We can just one person chant in the interest of time. Evam samohayam vishnum vimoham vishvamohanam swaya eva mayaya swayam eva vimohitam. Okay, we'll do word for word, please. Evam, in this way. Samohayan, wanting to mystify. Vishnum, the all-pervading Lord Krishna. Vimohahan, who can never be mystified. Vishva Mohanam, but who mystifies the entire universe. Swaya, by his Brahma's own. Eva, indeed. Mayaya, by mystic power. Ajaha, Lord Brahma. Api, even Swayam, himself, Eva, certainly, Vimohitaha, was put into bewilderment, became mystified. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thus, because Lord Brahma wanted to mystify the all-pervading Lord Krishna, who can never be mystified, but who, on the contrary, mystifies the entire universe, he himself was put into bewilderment by his own mystic power. Please repeat. Thus, because Lord Brahma wanted to mystify the all-pervading Lord Krishna, who can never be mystified, but who, on the contrary, mystifies the entire universe. He himself was put into bewilderment by his own mystic power. Purport. Brahma wanted to bewilder Krishna, who bewilders the entire universe. The whole universe is under Krishna's mystic power, Mama Maya Duratyaya. But Brahma wanted to mystify him. The result was that Brahma himself was mystified, just as one who wants to kill another may himself be killed. In other words, Brahma was defeated by his own attempt. In a similar position are the scientists and philosophers who want to overcome the mystic power of Krishna. They challenge Krishna saying, "What is God? We can do this and we can do that." But the more they challenge Krishna in this way, the more they are implicated in suffering. The lesson here is that we should not try to overcome Krishna. Rather, instead of endeavoring to surpass him, we should surrender to him. Sarva dharmam parityajya mam ekam sharanam braja. Instead of defeating Krishna, Brahma himself was defeated, for he could not understand what Krishna was doing. Since Brahma, the chief person within this universe, was so bewildered, what is to be said of so-called scientists and philosophers? Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam braja. We should give up all our tiny efforts to defy the arrangement of Krishna. Instead, whatever arrangements he proposes, we should accept. This is always better, for this will make us happy. The more we try to defeat the arrangement of Krishna, the more we become implicated in Krishna's maya. Daivihi esha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya. But one who has reached the point of surrendering to the instructions of Krishna, mam eva e prapadyante, is liberated, free from Krishna maya, mayam etam tarantite. The power of Krishna is just like a garment that cannot be overcome. First of all, there are laws, and then there is a police power, and beyond that is military power. Therefore, what is the use of trying to overcome the power of the government? Similarly, what is the use of trying to challenge Krishna? From the next verse, it is clear that Krishna cannot be defeated by any kind of mystic power. If one gets even a little power of scientific knowledge, one tries to defy God. But actually, no one is able to bewilder Krishna. When Brahma, the chief person within the universe, tried to bewilder Krishna, he himself was bewildered and astonished. This is the position of the conditioned soul. Brahma wanted to mystify Krishna, but he himself was mystified. The word Vishnu is significant in this verse. Vishnu pervades the entire material world, whereas Brahma merely occupies one subordinate post. Eshaika nishvashita kalam atavalambhya jivanti loma vilaja jagadandanata. Brahma Samhita 5:48. The word Nata, which refers to Lord Brahma, is plural because there are innumerable universes and innumerable Brahmas. Brahma is but a tiny force. This was exhibited in Dwaraka when Krishna called for Brahma. One day, when Brahma came to see Krishna at Dwaraka, the doorman at the Lord's request asked, "Which Brahma are you?" Later, when Brahma inquired from Krishna whether this was meant that there were more than one Brahma, Krishna smiled and at once called for many Brahmas from many universes. The four-headed Brahma of this universe then saw innumerable other Brahmas coming to see Krishna and offer their respects. Some of them had 10 heads, some had 20, some had 100, and some had 1,000,000 heads. Upon seeing this wonderful exhibition, the four-headed Brahma became nervous and began to think of himself as no more than a mosquito in the midst of many elephants. Therefore, what can Brahma do to bewilder Krishna? So here in this purport, Srila Prabhupada, he smashes the atheistic scientists and philosophers, they think that they are great, they can do a lot. Like even in, the most advanced of sciences is the nuclear science, right? People think the scientists they think, we'll gather this uranium and put these elements together and we'll make this big missiles and that can destroy practically the whole earth. But if we see in the previous ages, like we know the pastime of Achyuta, he had the same nuclear science, but it was so subtle, he could release that nuclear weapon that could go and destroy just the embryo and not even touch anyone else. The mother is safe, there is no pollution. These days we are seeing so many wars are happening. How much pollution is happening? They just launch one missile and Bhumi Devi is, she has to go through this torturous torturous actions of these demons. But like what we can say is like the advancement of so-called military advancement of military civilization is just like a child's play, compared to what the ancient sages of the Vedic times knew. So that's first part of the purport. And then also here, this and Krishna is saying, like how if we don't surrender unto him, then Maya Devi is there to test us, and we have to unnecessarily go through so much just because we don't surrender unto Krishna. And it is so easy, this process of Krishna consciousness. All we have to do is chant, dance, and feast. And anyone can do it. We don't have to be a nuclear scientist. Even a simple child can do it. Even a person who has not much educational background can do it. And then we can save us of all these unwanted things that are happening in this world. And just go back home, back to Godhead, where we originally came from. And then in this last part of this purport, how when all those different Brahmas came, and Srila Prabhupada is saying some of the Brahmas had like 1,000,000 heads. It's like, how does one understand? It's like the only way I think we can understand is this inconceivable. Krishna is inconceivable, and what he can do is inconceivable. So in the last verse, I'll just read this. As the darkness of snow on a dark night and the light of a glowworm in the light of day have no value, the mystic power of an inferior person who tries to use it against a person of great power is unable to accomplish anything. Instead, the power of that inferior person is diminished. Purport. When one wants to supersede a superior power, one's own inferior power becomes ludicrous, just as a glowworm in the daytime and snow at night have no value. Brahma's mystic power became worthless in the presence of Krishna, for greater mystic power condemns inferior mystic power. On a dark night, the darkness produced by snow has no meaning. The glowworm appears very important at night, but in the daytime, its glow has no value. Whatever little value it has is lost. Similarly, Brahma became insignificant in the presence of Krishna's mystic power. Krishna's Maya was not diminished in value, but Brahma's Maya was condemned. Therefore, one should not try to exhibit one's insignificant opulence before a greater power. So in this, we can actually understand from the purport, how we need to follow Vaishnav etiquette when we are dealing with superiors. Like Brahma made this mistake of trying to overshadow Krishna, and for us, when we have senior devotees, it's so very important that the way we speak with them, the way we deal with them, it's very, very important, because if we don't follow this Vaishnava etiquette, it's so easy for us to commit offenses. And it is said that offenses are like the mad elephant disease. Our whole process of bhakti can be destroyed. So in this regard, there is this famous pastime in Chaitanya Charitamrita, right? Like when Srila Madhavendra Puri was in his final pastimes, and he was externally, it appeared that he was suffering, he was actually in separation from Krishna. But his disciple Ramchandra Khan, he came there and he tried to transgress, and he was instructing his spiritual master, saying that you should meditate on Brahman. And that displeased Srila Madhavendra Puri so much that he asked him to get out of his sight, So it is very, very important. In even Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada gave us so many wonderful instructions, like he wanted us to, accept the temple president and the senior devotees in the temple as our authorities, and cooperate with them. And that was what would please Srila Prabhupada the most. When I had, when my spiritual master, His Holiness Radhanath Swami, he came on several occasions, that was the mood that Maharaj would always tell us, if you want to make me happy, back then Nityananda Prabhu and Mother Manjoli were the temple president, and so Maharaj would say, if you want to make me happy, if you make Nityananda Prabhu happy and Mother Manjoli happy, I'll be pleased. And that's so important, like if we do that, then the temple can run so smoothly, the senior devotees, they can actually guide us. And even in the last visit, when Nashingarupa Prabhu was the temple president by then, and then that was the instruction Maharaj gave us, he said, make sure Nashingarupa Prabhu, he has a family, make sure you don't burn him out. You have to help him and you have to serve him. So it's like personal instruction that Maharaj gave all of us, his disciples, and we can all see that if we do that, then we can cooperate with one another, we can push on this mission, of Krishna consciousness. So with that, I would like to beg for forgiveness if I've said something which is so many purports, so it was so hard to get everything together, but I would like to ask you all to please add or make any corrections to what I've spoken.
Thank you so much, Achyuta Govinda. Treating this extremely critical and beautiful part of the Srimad Bhagavatam with so much love and reverence and care. I have a question about about Maya, because we have Brahma's Maya, and of course Krishna is the source of all power. So is that when Brahma? So did he actually? Okay, so the question is did Krishna actually arrange? You know how Yoga Maya arranges all the pastimes for Krishna's pleasure. So was Brahma's, temporary forgetfulness of Sri Krishna's position, was that also a part of the panorama of Krishna's enjoyment? Or was it just Lord Brahma being a independent jiva, forgetting his personal position?
I mean, others can add, but from what my understanding is, I think Brahma was put into that situation mostly to teach us that what would happen if we try to transgress either Krishna or his pure devotees, and then this whole pastime is, of course, it is. I mean, I've heard that that when Indra did what he did during the in Govardhan pastime, he actually tried to kill the residents of Vrindavan. But in the process, what happened was they were all together under Govardhan for 7 days. But in this pastime, Brahma, he didn't do anything. He just took them away for a second of his time. But it is said that Krishna was, and the devotees felt more happiness by the Govardhan pastime than compared to Brahma's Vimohan Leela. I mean, but to answer your question, I think it is more for us to learn that we should not do something like this. But Gokulananda
Perhaps
Prabhu
it's
or anyone
both.
else would like to add.
Perhaps both.
I'm sorry.
Perhaps it's both, because the Lord knew that his devotees wanted to be with him constantly, and then also, how you know how Sri Krishna he accomplishes many things
Yes.
in one
Yes.
stroke.
Yes. He gave pleasure to the cowherd men, the gopis, and the cows. Everyone, because everyone is Krishna. So, and I think we also read in the previous purports like how they never felt this much love because it was Krishna is the only one who can actually do that. So on one hand, Brahma is being taught this lesson, and then we are in turn being taught this lesson. And on the other hand, so many other, the devotees are so happy. So you're right, Mother Kunti, that with one arrow, like how we see in Mahabharata, when Arjuna releases one arrow, it becomes so many arrows. So Krishna is actually doing that with one action. He's fulfilling so many purposes. So
It's like he bewildered Sri Arjuna on the battlefield, and then we got the song of God.
yes, Mother.
We got the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry I'm taking up too much airtime. Anybody have a question?
Prabhupada Priya wanted to add something.
Yeah, I also wanted to respond to your question. I don't know if I missed something of your answer because I was coming over here. But yeah, Krishna also had a lot of fun with this pastime. Because, I mean, you were asking, was Krishna also getting pleasure from this pastime? Yeah, I mean, Krishna also wanted this for his enjoyment because he wanted to experience the love of all those mothers, right? Like, all those mothers loved Krishna more than their own sons, and yet Krishna wasn't able to receive that love directly. Like, he wasn't able to, while they're bathing their sons, dressing their sons, feeding their sons, they're thinking, oh, I would like to do this for Krishna. And so Krishna was finally able to reciprocate. And also all the gopis, they're thinking, I want Krishna as my husband. But Krishna wasn't able to directly reciprocate. So then he expanded himself as the cowherd boys, and then they all got married in that year to the cowherd girls. So that way, Krishna was able to enjoy himself by receiving directly all the love of all the mothers, all the fathers, all the cowherd girls, in ways that he couldn't if he hadn't have done this pastime.
Yeah. Thank you, Mother Prabhupada Priya, for adding those wonderful details. Would anyone else like to say anything?
Sam, you got anything? Okay, he's good.
Okay. Oh, Mother Prabhupada Priya.
Oh, thank you. I need that. I want to hear.
I really liked how you brought up the point, Achyuta Govinda Prabhu, how in the beginning of in the chapter summary, Prabhupada said that Krishna did this for Brahma's pleasure, right? So then we might think, well, it looks like Brahma got like chastised, right? How is that for his pleasure? But then I was thinking, yeah, it was nice because in the end, his doubt was dissipated. He had a doubt: is this boy who's walking around with like yogurt dripping through his fingers of his left hand, wandering through the forest. Like, is this really God? So, but it's very pleasing to get your doubts dispelled and to have clear realizations of Krishna and who he actually is, and come closer to Krishna in these ways. So, like that for us too, that sometimes like we'll get chastised, right? We have some wrong mentality or some wrong attitude, or we do some wrong action and we get chastised for it. But then afterwards we feel better because that brought us closer to, proper behavior, Vaishnava etiquette, understanding, and nice devotee relationships. So, yeah, it just shows that chastisements are also pleasurable for the person getting chastised if we take them properly, like Brahma did. Right?
Thank you, Mother Prabhupada Priya. Gokulananda Prabhu.
That was a wonderful class, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
I was thinking about the mood. I'm just trying to think about what is the mood of Krishna behind enacting these pastimes. The most prominent theme that comes out to me is Krishna says, Maya Dakshina, Maya. There is Mahamaya. In this material creation, there is Mahamaya, which is under my control. So many demons, they perform austerities like Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, so on and so forth. So they get little bit of it, but then time and again it is proved that they're nothing. Like in this purport it is mentioned, Brahma's power, is like a glowworm in front of the sun. That is one thing. Then second point that comes to mind is Mamamaya Duratya. It's very difficult to conquer over is Maya. And thirdly, as I said, this is most amazing. Every day it is happening. In case of Lord Brahma's 1 day, 12 hours. Every day this pastime, every day is getting bewildered. Balaram is getting bewildered. So there is a purpose to attract the living entities, right? To reclaim them back. And we have also heard how these pastimes are repeated in every kalpa, in every day of Brahma, with little bit of details here and there. That's it. So just think about this, and it's so amazing. Lord Brahma gets bewildered every day. Every day, and he commits the same thing. That means Krishna is doing this with purpose, right?
Yes.
With an intention.
Yes. Yeah. There's so many unlimited living entities, so I think Krishna is giving us the opportunity again and again to actually relish these pastimes and go back to him. Thank you, Prabhu. Very nice realization. I think if everyone we are done, I think we can stop here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.